Hey everyone. Well, I sent out a note that I'd be starting sometime around 5, I guess 5:54 is sometime around 5. You have no idea, setting up, moving lamps around so the lighting is right, and shifting some pictures so the background is right, and moving a table out of the way, and a chair that Elena's comfortable in, and all that. But hi, I'm really glad to be back. It's been 8 long days, oh my God. And if you read my note, you might have seen it. I've spent the last week going over, I had like hour-long copyright song tapes that I'd get an hour's worth of songs, and I'd send the tape into Washington so you don't have to copyright each, $20 for each song, right? But I've got dozens of tapes, and I finally learned at least one way of digitizing them. And on one of the first tapes I found from 1981, I found so many really good songs. Oh my God. So I'm going to share 3 of those newly discovered songs. And I'll also read again, continue on from Stay With God by Francis Brabazon. And I will read, it was going to be 2 of my ghazals, but it's going to be 3 because thanks to Facebook, this ghazal that I wrote 9 years ago today showed up from Monday, June 11, 2012. So I'm going to start with this. It's called To Carry the Light. And Elena says hi, by the way. To carry the light. It need not be meaningful what I write, but only authentic to carry the light. If I'm interrupted, it's no dark night, but a healthy advance to carry the light. I can try and try with all of my might, but surrender is better to carry the light. Holding the string of trust, my kite is lifted by the spirited wind to carry the light. No need to condemn the occasional fight. Conflict advances the story to carry the light. Merely parroting spiritual truths becomes quite trite. Be bold and daring like youth to carry the light. In the end, it takes more than black and white, but a splendid rainbow to carry the light. See, can I ask you a favor? So just on the right side where it says reverb, lower it a bit. Maybe 2 notches, because I'm hearing it a lot now. My wife does not like being in front of the camera on the right-hand side of the dials, you see? Where it says reverb, just notch it back 1 or 2. Hello, hello, a little bit better. Hey, Elena. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to begin with the first newly discovered song. Turns out I've got 3 songs that are more or less titled I Love You Still. It's a theme. I wrote one back in 1972, and then I wrote this one. I wrote this one in 1981, and then 2 years later I wrote one called I Still Love You. So they kind of like, it's a theme. But this, I'm amazed. I don't know who I was channeling with these chords, but I love this song. It's called I Love You Still. You hear me on the radio and wonder if I love you still. I love you true, I always will, no matter where you go. But please don't feel I'm torn apart, or that my heart's still racked with pain. It's filled with peace like gentle rain, like it was from the start. I love you still, I always will, with a love that never wavers. Love so pure and calm and quiet and still, that separation savors, gathering all love's flavors. It's sweet and bitter favors. I love you still. you hear me on the radio, singing songs of love. You've flown away, my gentle dove, but life is good, you know. It lets me keep my love for you, yet lets me fly above the wonder of true love. I've learned from loving you. I love you still, I always will, with a love that never wavers, love so pure and calm and quiet and still, that separation savors, gathering all love's flavors, its sweet and bitter favors. I love you still, I always will. So when you hear me sing of us, don't worry, fret or cry. We never really said goodbye, we still meet on the bus. Your love for me is nonetheless, I found you again as a real true friend, in a friendship that will never end, with no need to confess. I love you still, I always will, with a love that never wavers, love so pure and calm and quiet and still, that separation savors, gathering all love's flavors, its sweet and bitter favors. I love you still, I love you still. So pretty. You know, you're an artist, you don't know exactly how stuff like that comes through. But for my part, I just feel really, 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 really grateful. So, okay. The next, Francis Brabazon. I'm going to read the 63rd to 69th stanzas of Book 1 of his epic poem of love called Stay With God. Now, we left off where he finally settled down after 4 years or so, I guess, of traveling with his disciples, and set up his first center at what became known as Meribad. Now he made a settle, Meher Baba, when I say he. Meher Baba. Now he made a setting for the jewel of selflessness, built a scaffolding for the house of service. He built a hospital and dispensary, a boys' school and shelters for the mendicant and the migrant poor. In a model township of 300 souls, class was abolished and creed each one's affair, and they who were called untouchable freely mingled. Each served and received service. Baba bathed the boys, washed clothes, and cleaned latrines. The disciples had sparse food, and he less than any. And this is when the caste system was very harsh still in India. It's just like early 1920s. He had a table 7 feet by 5 feet set up by the road and 3 sides of it enclosed. In this at night he wrote his book and continued by day his other activities. Quote, "Between certain hours I freely saw visitors. Hundreds came to see me, believing in my spiritual status. But most of them only sought my blessings, hoping to obtain health or advancement or spiritual powers or a good marriage for their daughter. Sometimes the stream of visitors continued from morning till evening." Continuing the quote, On one occasion, a man wanted to give me everything he had and begin a new life of renunciation and service. Everything turned out to be a wife and 7 children. On another occasion, a yogi, determined to find God at any cost, sought my instructions. I told him to wait for him under a tree. He waited 7 days. On the 8th, preferred his life to God. But there were real seekers, like one who kept seclusion and silence even when a cobra came into his cell. I wish I could share that story. I've heard it. It's wondrous. The yogi bit, so now that's the end of the quote. The yogi bit, Francis says, reminiscent of the chap who came to a murshid wanting God above all else. Chuck him in the river, the master said to his disciples. They did. When he came up, the master said, shove him under. So 2 or 3 times, then fished him out. Said the master, what did you want most when you was down there? Air, said the aspirant. Damn fool, said the master. If you'd wanted God, I'd have given you him. The boys' school was unique in this work ticket education age. I love that phrase, this work ticket education age. I had teachers who taught us like what education meant, and it was a bigger thing than that. Anyway, Francis says the boys' school was unique in this work ticket education age. But as schools were when men were near to God, subjects necessary for livelihood efficiently taught. The target is that bird in yon tree. Describe it. A bird's head with an eye in its middle, sir. Shoot. But most and first, the pupils were unfolded into men of love, in the manner of God, akhlaq Allah, centered in quietness and obedient to the seasons, equipped for plains faring, the inner journey, the spiritual plains. Men who, as householders, lived in abstinence, ashram sannyasis, loving God and God in men, feeding the stranger before themselves, giving innumerable Jesus cups of water to the thirsty, keeping their servants, if they had them, rest days according to the sacred calendar, bathing only in cold water, and always before love approach with joy to their wives, worshipping Guru, God in form, longing for the 50 years age flight and the begging bowl and the road. Mehrabad was your establishment in the world, Baba, of the luster of service, the brightness of casteless fellowship, your demonstration that creed is encumbrance. Then you abandoned the place, leaving 2 disciples as caretakers, and took the road again. It was later that some devotees paved with stone the ground under the box in which you wrote the world's next Bible, and built a tile roof over it to preserve it for later devotees. And we'll continue with the next stanza, which begins, this time in your travels you included Africa, Europe, America, and China. In the US, they organized a show at the Hollywood Bowl for your silence breaking. I don't want to start reading because it'll be too much. Okay. The next thing here, another song from 1981. And I do remember this one. But I was a bit self-conscious about it at the time. I feel so much better about these songs now. But it kind of seems schmaltzy to me. It's actually very sincere. And like many of my songs, going back quite a ways, it's a relationship song about any relationship any of us might be in. And it's also about, or could be about our, like most love songs, about our relationship with the Divine Beloved. So this is called I Believe in You. Helpless in all the things I want, always stumbling over my own feet. You've got to show me the way. I believe in you. I believe in you. I know you've never let me down, though I've given you cause it's true. So now, as always, I'm calling on you to see me through. I believe in you, and I believe in you. I remember the long, lonely nights, but then with just one glance you turned darkness into light. I'm gonna keep on believing because it feels so right to have you near, and to never know what it was like to live in fear. So now I turn another page, never knowing what the future brings, but I know I'll make it because you see, I know you believe in me. You believe in me, and I believe in you. I remember the long, lonely nights. Then with just one glance you turn darkness into light. I'm gonna keep on believing because it feels so right to have you near, and to never know what it was like to live in fear. I believe in you. I believe in loving you. I believe in you. Okay. That, in performance with a few other musicians, would have a nice instrumental break in the middle. Maybe repeat the last verse. But it's a nice nugget just like that, I think. So now, I've picked out two of my ghazals from this book of mine, 424 Ways to Find Your Lover. It's got 424 ghazals. It's a one-page poem in a particular format. And finding your lover, it's not like a singles ad. It's finding the divine lover within yourself who is always singing the song of love to the divine beloved. So, first one here is my ghazal 183, The Belief in Lack. The belief in lack is the attack on life, on love, by me. A pack of hungry, snarling, vicious dogs, prowling the bogs, turning the cogs of self-defeating mind machines, evil and mixing ends with means, till nothing means a single thing, and desperation grabs the ring of life's success, pulling it down into the mud below the ground, buried and planted, an evil seed, to sprout still more unrequited need. The only thing it's got plenty of, the belief in lack, is the attack on love. And those of you who may have studied A Course in Miracles will find some of the themes in that reminiscent. And the second one I'm going to read is called The Dance of Surrender, a dialogue, my ghazal 180. Easy to find them because ghazal 180 is on page 180. The Dance of Surrender, a dialogue. Gird your loins. Sorry. The Dance of Surrender, a dialogue. Gird your loins for the battle ahead. Drop your pants and surrender instead. By the darkness you've been overtaken. My own dark side cannot be shaken. Preserve the holy shrine you've made to your life. I release. I am not afraid. You are facing the end. I'll call a priest. I'll be St. George and slay the beast. Aren't you afraid of dying? No, I'm in love with flying. And what became of all the fear? It fled when I no longer held it dear. So you brush yourself off and walk away? And live to surrender another day. I like that one. Surrender, a dialogue. What was it called? Surrender. The Dance of Surrender, a dialogue. Okay. So, this one is unlike any other song I've ever written, and it's unlike anything I've ever even shared in person. Excuse me, a little nervous. I have a little bit of my coffee here. This is another song I came across from my 1981 song tape. I've talked about Meher Baba. I'm reading this book, which, among other things, covers the course of his life, his ministry. But I'm very reluctant to share openly who and what Meher Baba is to me. You can sense it, but Baba was very emphatic about not proselytizing him. He said, I was Ram, I was Krishna, I was Jesus. His disciples would go and try and get Christians to convert or something to Baba, to recognize. And he said, you're interfering with, they're loving me as Jesus now, or they're loving me as Krishna, or they're loving me as Allah. Don't interfere. It's my work, who I call to me in this incarnation, and when I do that. So, and he also said, which will shut anyone up in a second, he said, unless your life itself embodies my message of love and truth to others, don't even show your face to those who you would like to win over to me. And hell, I couldn't meet that standard, so I've been keeping my mouth shut. On the other hand, and that's the lead into this song, he also said on a certain occasion, whoever you think I am, say so boldly. If you think Baba is the devil, say it. I am anything and everything you can take me to be. And if you think Baba is Christ, is the God-man, say it even though you are stoned for it. If you say what you truly believe, your words will have the power of truth behind them. So, usually, I've had various things I've said. In the beginning I said he's God in human form, but that's kind of easy to trip off the tongue. And after a while, in my more maturing years, a spiritual figure who lived in India. And when I still had a twinge with that kind of escapist answer, I said, a Christ-like figure. Well, I believe he was Christ. So that's it. So, in going through this song tape, I found a song that actually would be my honest answer if someone asked me, who is Meher Baba? Now, of course, it's my answer. I don't expect or want or hope or anything that it'll be your answer, but you might want to hear my answer. And now I can actually say it honestly. Right, Elena? Yeah. It's called Meher, Meher Baba. Meher, Meher Baba. Baba's name could be pronounced Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Meher Baba is the one I kind of prefer because the H is sort of silent, but just breathed into. Such a beautiful name to those of us who see him as we see him. So this, we'll use some different variations of that. My nervous cough, it predates COVID. Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Meher Baba is the ocean of infinite love. This ocean shines in its own sunlight. He is the source and the goal of all the waters of all life. The true beloved of us, the mount, rivers, lakes, and streams. His light is brighter than the brightest star on the darkest summer night. 1,000,000 suns would be but the seventh shadow of his glory. Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Meher Baba is the ancient one, he's the highest of the high. He's your only real true friend on the road of life. No matter where you find yourself, on his love you can rely. He's been with you through all your joys and strife. He's the avatar, the incarnate God-man of this day and age. If you give your life to him, he'll lead you to your own glory. Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba. You can search throughout the world for real happiness and bliss, but you'll never earn his liberating kiss. You can climb the highest mountain or dive the deepest sea, but you'll never find the love that sets you free. To light the flame of love inside, it is smokeless and it's pure. Meher Baba is the source of truth, beauty that shall endure. Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Of course, that's a very long answer to give if someone just asks you because they see you wearing a button with some guy's picture on it. So I'm not sure it solves my problem, but at least here and now once I have given my personal honest answer. And with that, we'll take a break until next week, probably, God willing, as I go through these song tapes and learn some of these songs, some of which I know I wrote and some are new to me. And I'm going to just say hi to whoever I see on the screen right now. Hold on. Gina, hello. Good to see you here. It's been a while. No Heights Players for a while. Madeline, thank you so much. It's always so wonderful to see you here. Let me see if I can see anyone. They only show me who's just showing up at the moment. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and I'm so happy that I can do this and that I can share this all with you, all of it, the good, the bad, the painful, the joyful. So God willing, I'll see you again in about a week. And thanks again. God bless.